You might not believe me, but this might be the next big thru hiking shoe. And it's rechargeable? Okay, what do you look for in a hiking shoe? I'm guessing first, comfort. If you're going to be hiking miles and miles a day, you're going to want to be comfortable. Then maybe it's affordability, durability, support, style, traction, whatever. That's a lot to consider, not to mention your individual needs. Maybe you have high arches or overpronating ankles. Maybe you have flat feet or you're prone to plantar fasciitis. Fasciitis. Fasciitis? Fasciitis. Fasciitis. Maybe your feet hurt. And to make it harder, there are countless brands out there all claiming to have the ultimate thru hiking shoe. Ultras, Hokas, Brooks, Topos, Salomons, Merrells, the list goes on. And I'm not exaggerating, if you go to REI's site right now and type in hiking shoes, you're going to get over 700 results. But even with all of this noise, if you've been paying attention, chances are that you've noticed that there is a new heavy hitter that's been making the rounds in the hiking forums. A new trail shoe designed specifically for thru hikers that some of the most elite in the sport are reaching for over the classics. Yes, my friends, this right here is the Astral Nosobo, the rechargeable trail shoe. And today I'm going to break down exactly why this unassuming shoe is making such big waves in the hiking community and why it might just be the future of thru hiking. Okay, let's start with the basics. The Astral Nosobo is a zero drop shoe with a 20mm stack height. So that means while you're still getting that crazy popular zero drop that all the thru hikers love these days, you're still getting that 20mm of cushion, allowing you to engage with the ground while simultaneously still absorbing some of that shock. And 20mm is unique because it allows you to connect with the ground while still getting a little bit of cushioning. This helps you interact with the ground more underfoot, lowering your center of gravity and improving your balance and stability. It also has what Astral calls their biodynamic shape. That's a secure midfoot and heel with a wider toe box than Astral's original shape. That's great for you if you're going to be putting in a lot of miles. I'm looking at you thru hikers. And it's especially great for those of you who are really focused on naturally shaped footwear. This combination of level footwear with their biodynamic shape is what Astral calls their balanced geometry, meaning that this shoe is specifically designed to provide superior balance and stability and respect your foot's natural position. All right, let's talk about the bottoms. Now, what really impresses me about Astral is their methodical approach to the bottoms of their shoes. And if you go to their site, you're going to find a ton of information about why the bottoms of their shoes look and feel the way that they do. Now, in my opinion, the bottom of this shoe is remarkable for 3 reasons. One is how Astral approaches the physical construction of this shoe. They design their footwear to conform to the ground, meaning that the bottoms of these shoes have the maximum surface area in contact with the ground at all times, maximizing friction and your grip. In other words, Astral's midsoles and outsoles are finely tuned to be softer and more flexible so that you can really feel the ground as much as possible. And that is critical for gripping irregular terrain, like on the Appalachian Trail, which is rocky and rooty. Second, it's made with Astral's proprietary G.15 rubber, described on their site as a more durable proprietary compound that increases abrasion resistance while still providing excellent grip on wet and dry surfaces. It is non-marking and conformable to the ground, aka this is specifically designed to give you as much grip as possible while still being flexible. And the third remarkable thing about this shoe is the tread pattern. Astral calls it the Trail Grip 2. Now, you may look at the bottom of this shoe and think, yeah, that looks grippy to me. But it goes beyond just looking grippy. It's specifically designed with front to back traction and to shed as much dirt as possible. So say that you're on the Appalachian Trail and it's wet and slippery and it's muddy and you're hiking over all sorts of rocks in Pennsylvania. This shoe is specifically designed to get you as much traction as possible and to keep all of that mud and dirt off the bottoms of your feet. Okay, now let's talk about how this shoe is built and how it's optimized for thru hikers. For one, this shoe is adhered with something called Direct Connect. What is Direct Connect? Great question. Well, if you're a long distance hiker, chances are that at one point or another, your shoes have just totally separated between this part of the shoe and the bottom part of the shoe and just disintegrated and totally fallen apart. So what happened there is that your tread completely separated from the rest of the shoe, and that is called delamination. And when you're a thru hiker and you're hiking as many miles as we do, that is really common. And it's a big reason that a lot of hiking shoes are put out to pasture prematurely. To combat that, Astral stitches and adheres the shoe's outsole directly to the upper, completely eliminating the possibility of delamination. Like, a lot would have to go wrong if this shoe was going to delaminate the same way that so many of the other hiking shoes do. Another unique aspect of this shoe is the 100% recycled upper canvas. Now, this is a much more durable material to have so close to the ground, and it is this exact part of the shoe that you see failing so often on competitors like Altra and Topo. Specifically around the flex point of the shoe, that's really doing so much of the work. It also can happen over here. That's really common. It also happens up here and over here where the shoe is in contact with rocks and other debris. A lot of my shoes look like that. They just have big tears over here. But what Astral did differently is that they have connected these rubber outsoles directly to the recycled canvas mesh, ensuring that they're using the most durable material possible in the areas where the shoes are most likely to fail, aka the highest abrasion zones. It's also gator compatible, so you won't need to mess around with adhering a Velcro strip to the back and then that falls off and then you lose that and then your gaiters don't work and now you're just carrying around gaiters. Again, designed with thru-hikers in mind. But what's most exciting about this shoe, and what I've been most excited to talk about, is the fact that it is rechargeable. I know you're confused. Jess, what is a rechargeable shoe? Let's talk about it. So once you've put hundreds of miles onto your shoes, you're going to notice that they just aren't feeling as good as they used to, and they might look totally fine, no big issues, the tread still looks good, but for whatever reason, it's just not as comfortable and your feet are aching at the end of the day, and that is a big issue. Because they're not as supportive as they used to be, or the shock absorption is just totally dead, and your feet are taking the brunt of all of that impact. But again, from an outside perspective, the shoe looks totally fine. Everything else is intact. The grip looks good. Maybe there's no tears or anything. Like, the shoe is solid, but it's just not doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is keeping your feet from hurting. So what's actually happening is that while the shoe is structurally fine, the midsole is dead. And so it is technically time to retire the shoe. And again, that's frustrating because the rest of the shoe is fine. I definitely have let a lot of shoes go way longer than they should just because they looked good and I did not want to drop a bunch of money on a new shoe. So what's really special about the Astral Nosobo is that while any other shoe would have to be thrown away, this shoe is rechargeable and you can switch out that midsole. This is where the Nosobos really shine. The Nosobos feature Astral's rechargeable drop-in midsole technology. So instead of just having to throw out the entire shoe like you would any other kind of shoe and buy a whole new pair of Nosobos, instead, you can just swap in for a whole new midsole. The new midsole is not only going to totally refresh your Nosobo's cushioning, but it'll recharge the step and lifespan of your shoes. The rechargeable midsole is not only way better for your wallet, because, surprise, the midsoles are way cheaper than just replacing an entire new pair of shoes, it's also way better for the environment. That's without even mentioning that the upper and the laces are made out of 85% recycled materials. And look, it's no secret that the thru-hiking lifestyle isn't always eco-friendly. Of course, you can argue that walking every day instead of driving is ultimately better for your carbon footprint. But you can't deny that single-use plastics like smart water bottles and all of the Pop-Tarts and honey bun plastics and of course, all of these shoes that you're going through is not exactly great for the environment. So hikers going through several pairs of shoes over the course of their thru hike is decidedly bad for the environment, but also, of course, decidedly bad for your wallet. So not only is it expensive, it's a lot of waste. So if you're looking for even just a small way to make an environmental difference over the course of your hike, the rechargeable midsole is a good option. Or if you don't care about that, at the very least, you could save yourself hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like, I did the math on this. Say that you are hiking in Ultra Lone Peaks. A new pair of Ultra Lone Peaks costs you $165. And they say that you should be replacing your shoes every 300 to 500 miles. So let's just meet in the middle and go for every 400 miles. And now if you're hiking on the Continental Divide Trail, which is a 3,000 mile trail, and you're replacing your shoes every 400 miles, that's gonna add up. That is 7 pairs of shoes over the course of one thru hike to the tune of $1,200. As compared to the Astral Nosobo, which in lieu of replacing the entire shoe, you're just swapping out that midsole, those only run you $30 a pop, and if you have to swap those in, say, 7 times, that's only $200 in midsoles. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. So that's all of the technical stuff. Now let's just talk about the thru-hiker of it all. This shoe was designed by and for thru-hikers. In fact, its prototypes were tested by elite thru hikers on trails like the AT and the PCT and the CDT over the course of hundreds and thousands of miles. And those prototypes were tested for a long time before the final shoe was released. So it's not a trail runner that has been co-opted by the thru hiking community because it has good grip and it's light, like basically every other shoe that every other thru hiker is wearing on the trail. No, this is a trail shoe designed by hikers for doing long miles over long days, for hundreds of miles, for thousands of miles, for days and weeks and months on end. This is a thru hiking shoe. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that this shoe feels like a love letter to thru hikers' foot health and longevity. I sincerely do not think that I could say that about literally any other shoe on the market today. But ultimately, I'm interested in your thoughts. Do you wear the Astral Nosobos? Are you interested in the Astral Nosobos? Would you give them a try? What intrigues you? What do you dislike? I really want to hear all of your thoughts because I sincerely think that the more that people find out about this shoe, the bigger it's going to get on these trails. And I could really foresee a future where this is the #1 shoe on the biggest scenic trails in the country. Because this is a market that's really untapped, is shoes made specifically for thru hikers. This kind of feels like the start of a whole new category. But again, I want to know what you think about it, so let me know in the comments. So again, I want to thank Astral for sponsoring this video and for making such a conscientious effort to create the best possible shoes for thru hikers and long distance backpackers that they could, and also for giving me this super sick hoodie. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from the trek. My name is Sassafras, and happy hiking.